how do we figure out when is the best time and worst times to do certain things? And what does that even mean? So every one of us, and you may have noticed this already in your life, but every one of us has a different sort of rhythm to our day. There's some people who are morning people, some people who are night people, some people are something in between. But it actually gets much more detailed than that. So we can figure out that there is a better time and sometimes a better place for you to do math, for you to do really high level, intense brain activity stuff. And then other times for you to do other things like exercise or even take a nap. Everybody is different. And in some cases, you really don't have the opportunity to mess around with that schedule, because if you have to be in school from 8:30 to 3:30, there's not much you can do within that window. But outside of that, we can still try to work within that. So one of the things that I discovered a long time ago is something called peak time. Every one of us has a period in the day, and it's about 90 minutes, where you are 2 to 100 times more effective than any other time of the day. And what that means is that you're really more able to drop into what's called a flow state. And a flow state for most people is when you feel like you're working on something and you're really passionate about it and it's interesting and exciting, and hours or a lot of the time flies by in a matter of minutes. That's really your peak time. And once you figure out what your peak time is, you can actually start to figure out other things. So I created this totally free ChatGPT bot to help you figure that out. You don't need to pay for anything. You can sign up for a free ChatGPT account if you're able to, and you can use this to determine that. So I'll just show you what that looks like. So what is a peak time and how do I find mine? So it's going to give you a little bit of a preamble about what it is, and then start to tell you how to find it. And I'll show you what the process looks like, and what it looks like when you find out what it is. So yes, I want to find out what my peak time is. And then it's going to take me through a series of questions to narrow it down. And so when do you typically feel most alert and mentally sharp during the day? I'm going to skip ahead with some of these because you can go through this yourself. So I've answered the questions, and now it's not only going to tell me what my peak time is, but it's giving me this sort of personal productivity schedule. So here you can see my peak focus time, like the time that I'm at my absolute best, is 9:30 to 11:30. Now, again, if you're stuck on a schedule where you're at school and you can't really do much about that, at least you know that about yourself, and you sort of know what your brain is like, and you can try to work within that. On the weekends, or when you might not have school or might not have a schedule that you can't adjust, you can more deeply drill in on this stuff. So my creative zone is 11:30 to 1, which is great. My routine work zone, so that's kind of like when I'm doing the things that are a little bit mindless, like I don't really require a lot of brain power, like doing emails or sort of repetitive tasks. Exercising for me is best in the morning or after 4. And then my social zone, right? So when I'm really good for meetings, calls, or teamwork is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. So this is a really cool thing to know. And if I'm going to take this now, I'm going to take my peak time, which is 9:30 to 11:30. And let's say I want to put that on my calendar. Right. So except I'm not going to conflict that with the school day, for example. So let's put that on the weekends. So I'm going to say 9:30 to 11:30 peak time. I'm going to repeat this on the weekends. So weekly on Saturday, let me make that custom and say Saturdays and Sundays, not Mondays. Cool, save. Okay, so again, what this does, and you'll see it shows it over here too. There, Saturday and Sunday. What this does is it just, again, gives me that context. So if I'm able to on that day and I can block that time off, it's like that's the time when I'm going to be crushing it mentally, right? And so I want to try to honor that as much as I can. Another thing I did forget to mention here with the calendar is you can also add in what they like holidays, and then they have calendars of interest. So this could be other holidays like Jewish holidays, Christian holidays, Hindu, sports teams if you follow a sports team. So let's put, I guess football's big going on right now, so I'll put that in. And then you maybe have a specific team. So let's go Philadelphia Eagles because they're coming up, right? And I don't know if it's going to show anything for that. It probably won't show the Super Bowl. But anyway, those are more calendars that you can feed into there. That's how peak time works. And that's how you can start to figure out when is the best time and the worst time for you to do different things.